Congratulations, because you bought this tape, you qualify for a free trial subscription to NetGuide Magazine, the leading magazine of the online world. To get 3 months free, call 1-800-858-1066. 1-800-858-1066. More details after you take the Ultimate Internet Tour.
We are developing a nervous system, an electronic nervous system for the planet.
It is the most personal of communication systems that we have ever had.
Think of it as the electronic Gutenberg.
What is everybody talking about? The Internet. Hi, I'm Richard Hart. So, what is all this buzz about, this Internet, this cyberspace? Just the greatest collection of information in the world, all at your fingertips.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Lucy. It's also about communicating with an entire world of people. People who can help your business.
It's the ultimate in letting consumers do what they want when they want to do it.
People who can help you and your family learn about science, history, art, culture.
The White House just went online.
And people who can help you goof off in ways you never imagined.
It's a first-person 3D game, incredibly fast.
So, is this a place you want to be?
Well, in the next hour, we'll expose the Internet, warts and all, so you can decide if it's worth your time and money.
Oh, and we'll show you just what this marriage and this overgrown rodent have to do with it all.
So join us as together we take the Ultimate Internet Tour. Newlyweds and cute quadrupeds. Aw, Dorothy, I thought this was going to be more like megabytes and gigahertz and those kinds of
You
things.
gearheads are all the same. Just sit tight for a minute and I'll explain it to you. Hey, by the way, did you like the music?
Yes, by the way, our music is being provided by a group called the Mermen, and guess what? We found out about them on the Internet.
It's incredible how much information is out there, and that is why we are here now, to show you exactly what kind of information, resources, and people are on the Internet, so you can decide if it's a place you want to be.
All right, some people call it the net for short. Others use the sexier term cyberspace. Some people, thank you Al Gore, even call it the information superhighway. All the same names for the Internet. Exactly what is it? It's not a computer. It's the world's largest network of computers, made up of 40,000 individual networks all linked together. Anyone using one of them can share information with the others because they're all linked by high-speed phone lines and a common computer language. And because all 40,000 of these networks are interconnected, we get the name Internet, interconnected networks. Internet, get it? Just like the interstate superhighways?
At last count, there are at least 30 million different names for the Internet and 30 million people around the world using this massive internetwork to communicate and share information.
What kind of information? Sit back and watch, because here comes an in-depth tour of all the net has to offer. Sending letters has been a primary way of communicating for hundreds of years. We waited days and weeks to receive communications from our friends, family, and business associates. But now, thanks to the Internet, millions of people around the world are using their computers to send and receive messages worldwide within minutes.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Electronic mail is the most popular thing that people do on the Internet, but it's certainly not the only thing.
Yep, those X-rated items you used to have to go to a certain part of town and a place like this to find are now available on the net.
Personal ads, photographs, and discussions of any intimate topic you can possibly dream of. Even fetishes.
Maybe you're looking for your money's worth in a good movie. Roger Ebert is big on the Internet. All of his recent reviews readily available. Leonard Maltin's pick of the week, too. Virtually any information a movie buff would want. There are discussion groups for cinema buffs, even Hollywood gossip. Catch sneak previews at the online Buena Vista Movieplex. Check out movie reviews. Test your movie trivia. You can even search online film archives.
Just can't get enough of TV? Well, there's lots of stuff about television programming on the net. You can get copies of TV scripts, photos of cast members, get the TV schedule, or get every gut-wrenching detail of the daytime soap operas. Catch up on Melrose Place or hunt down your favorite Seinfeld quote. And now you can get your beauty sleep and know what Jay Leno had to say last night.
If you love music, you're going to love the net. More and more artists are putting more and more stuff online all the time. Everything from liner notes, album covers, and even sample tracks once in a while. Just take a look at who's on the internet. Everyone from unsigned groups to the most popular artists. If you miss a concert, no problem. Just log on, order the merchandise, and tell everyone you were there.
If you like art, there's plenty for you on the net. Everyone from Da Vinci to Kandinsky, along with new digital artists of our decade. Love the Louvre? It's online too, along with the Vatican, the Museum of Singapore, the Holocaust Museum, and San Francisco's Exploratorium. More and more newspapers and magazines are being added to the internet every day, and the online versions have extra articles. Plus, you can finish reading it online before it ever comes to your local newsstand. Wired, Mother Jones, Vibe, and Time are all online. And so are USA Today, Wall Street Journal, Fortune, and Business Week.
Speaking of business services are booming on the net. Maybe you want to look up an 800 number. How about some technical support? You can establish credit, book an airline ticket, check out new car models, get updated on the latest corporate announcements, and play the stock market.
Hungry, anybody? Well, food is not exactly going to pop out of your computer when you're online, but you can order a pizza and have it delivered right to your door. You can get the menu from a restaurant you're thinking about trying, learn how to cut up rabbit for gourmet rabbit stew, swap stories at a virtual pub, or get creative and mix up some Zima cocktails.
And every day the number of recipes and amount of information grows. There is so much out there, and the truth is, in 1 hour, nobody could ever show you everything you'll need to know about connecting to and accessing all this electronic information.
You could spend hundreds of hours online and really just begin to scratch the surface. Now, our job is to give you kind of an educated overview of what's out there so you can decide if the internet is for you.
All right, now it's time to see where this thing came from and to get a quick briefing on how it works. Don't panic, there is no electrical engineering degree required. 1969 had Woodstock and the first moonwalk. 69 had old hippies and a new hero. And 69 had horrors. The nuclear arms race was at its peak. We were still locked in the Cold War. And we were still stuck in a hot war, Vietnam. In 69, there was still the very real threat the superpowers could go at it in a global atomic showdown. Factories cranked out missiles on both sides. Kids in school still watched those old civil defense films, learning to duck and cover. In 69, our government worried too about surviving. What would happen in a nuclear attack to our nation's communications system? Would the Army, Navy, and Air Force be cut off from each other? The Pentagon has an agency that works on things just like that, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA for short. It funds scientific research that could help the military. ARPA had funded research all through the 60s to make computers faster and smarter. But by 69, there was still a giant problem. As smart as computers were, they couldn't talk to each other.
Computers could not talk to each other. There was no format, no protocol. They didn't even speak the same codes.
So ARPA hired scientists and engineers like Len Kleinrock and his staff at UCLA to find a way to do it, to link, or what's called network computers, thinking it could be one way to make a communications system that could survive anything. It was a challenge because every computer in the world had a different language.
Imagine that, to say there was 10 different kinds of computers and you wanted to all communicate. That might mean there was, to communicate with each of the other ones, you'd have to have 9 different ways of communicating. You have to know 9 different languages besides your own. But we said, okay, let's not do that. Let's come up with one language.
John Postel was a grad student at UCLA back then. Len Kleinrock had a whole team of grad students doing a lot of the work. What were they like?
Hippies, nerds, barefoot, short sleeve, sleeveless, bearded, unwashed, brilliant, wonderful kids.
These hippies and these professors spent months working day and night, tweaking their computer, adding switches, and perfecting a standard language. Then came the first big test. Could UCLA send a message to a computer some 400 miles away at SRI, the Stanford Research Institute? The first word to be sent, login.
So one of our guys typed the letter L, and over the phone, the guy at the other end said, "I got the L." And then we sent the O, and the guy said, "I got the O." And then we sent the G, and the system crashed. So we didn't even get the first full word. Shortly thereafter, they brought it up, and we continued, and we did eventually log into the remote machine. It was not one giant step, or come here, Watson. It was log in, which is perhaps a wonderful characterization of the computer world.
For the first time ever, two computers hundreds of miles away could talk to each other.
We didn't really think of it as a big historic thing because we were building this little research project for ARPA. We weren't building the world's communication system.
That system is based on three important concepts still used today. The first is the networked server system. The second is called packet switching. And the third, dynamic routing. All pretty cool things. Hey, don't give me that glazed over look yet. Give us a chance here. Here's a model of a computer network that has 6 big computers scattered across the country, symbolized here by our little lightning bolts. Engineers call these kinds of computers servers because they serve up information to each other and to the people who use them. Inside each, a fancy switch controls all the information sent from and to the next computer. It's this idea that forms the basis for sending messages and files across the country. Every server can receive information from or send information to a neighboring server because they can all speak the same language. There, that wasn't so bad, was it? You're doing great. In a minute or so, you'll be home free. Now say you want to send a message from your computer in Los Angeles to your friend's computer in New York. Your computer breaks your message down into a long strand of zeros and ones. But what happens if there's a glitch along the way? The entire message gets garbled. That's where the idea of packet switching comes in. With packet switching, your computer automatically breaks that long string of zeros and ones into small, easy-to-manage groups called packets. It then sends them to your friend's computer. If any one of these little packets is garbled or gets lost, your friend's computer automatically asks your computer to send it again. Then your friend's computer puts all the packets together in the right order, and voila, a message. Hey, packet switching, good. You still with me? One more concept, and then you'll be able to hold your own with anybody from MIT. Take the same little network we've built. Let's send the same message by little packets to our friend's computer in New York. But this time, the computer in Dallas is down, disconnected, or say Saddam Hussein has blown it up. With dynamic routing, your computer automatically figures out that the road up ahead is washed out and automatically sends your packets of information to the nearest servers which can handle them. And then watch what happens. Wow, your packets can get blasted and bounced everywhere to whichever computers are the least busy. And then in 15 or 20 minutes, all those little pieces of your letter miraculously end up at your friend's computer and in the right order. That's dynamic routing. Whoa, I can get worked up over cool stuff like that.
Down, boy, down. Boys and their toys. I get it, okay? Can we move on now?
Okay, sorry, Dorothy. But with these three concepts, the ARPANET was born. Scientists had a new way to communicate on a system that was indestructible. Indestructible because information was stored in all those servers scattered across the country, not in one central place. Write a file in Los Angeles and send it to your friends, and that file is backed up everywhere you sent it. All of ARPANET could never be nuked. Remember this concept. There is no central headquarters. There is no main office building. You could pull the plug on some of the servers, but never shut down the entire net. It'll just keep going and going. So the net isn't a place. It's not really even a thing. It's billions of files and ideas floating around everywhere, united by a common language. This ARPANET grew quickly. By the early 80s, 200 colleges were connected to the ARPANET.
3, 2, 1.
NASA and other government agencies had networks too, and they wanted their networks to be able to share info with everyone on the ARPANET. In 1981, they did. Now this one network, the